Hey, welcome. I'm always stoked that you're here. Thanks for dropping in. I want to begin a new thing that is me sharing on video and obviously with audio what I have been creating on my blog this week. So it's kind of like the audio video version of what's going on my blog. So I touched on 3 topics that are all very related. The topics are that hard is normal. Is there a right way, Is there a right way to live life? And expectations create stress. So I wanted to briefly kind of share ad lib what these 3 things are all about and how they're connected. So most of us have grown up, like our parents' generation for sure, and probably for a long time, there has been this belief system that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and that a person can be a good or bad person depending on what they do. So this gets us into a mindset and a way of living our life that is based on what other people think of us and how other people judge us. And we easily get into a place of trying to please other people and do the right thing to get approval and to have the judgment or the opinions of us that we want. That when we run our life this way and live our life this way, we get into a place of like really big disconnect from ourselves. So I know, like, I grew up being told and encouraged to be a good girl. And it's been really amazing raising my own little daughter and really distinguishing the difference of that she is always a good girl and that some of her behaviors and actions are not necessarily good, or that there is, it doesn't mean that there's no behaviors that are judged and maybe try to improve upon and this kind of stuff, but that her innate who she is good. And it takes away the internal, it changes the dynamic. I'm not exactly sure how to phrase it. I listened to a podcast like hardcore the first year that I had my little one by Janet Lansbury. I highly recommend her. She's incredible with childhood psychological development, and her whole plan is respectful parenting. And I have not only applied a lot of what she taught me to my little one, but I also really took in what she shared about how I think about myself. And it really helped me deconstruct this idea of me being a good person or bad person based on what I do. Like, I'm always a good person. So this is like the foundation of how I really like to question the perspective of, can we be a good person or a bad person? Can there be a right way or a wrong way? And really pulling these parts apart and defining the separate pieces. I am a good person. Maybe I don't always do the best thing, but it doesn't take away from my worthiness and my value. So that's the first piece, is just looking at this. Then the other piece that is connected, it's a little bit of a jump, but it's then like how we look at the world and what we expect the world to be, what we expect our life to be, what we expect situations to be, what we expect other people in our life, our friends, our partners, anything external. So a lot of people and a lot of my clients, they get into this mindset that life should be a certain way. And when life doesn't go a certain way, then there's a lot of bummer feelings, a lot of negative feelings. And I really want to propose that these bummer feelings don't actually come from the bummer event, but they come from our expectations of what's going on outside. So let me think of an example. So when we expect our friends to call us on our birthday or to give us a birthday gift or to show up a certain way, and they don't show up that way, then it's like we get upset at our friends for not doing what we expected them to do. And this expectation of what we want and what reality is creates this negative feelings that can lead to stress. I would say that stress comes in more exacerbated situations, like you get in a car accident and then you have to deal with all of the aftermath, whether it's the hospital, whether it's the insurance, whether it's all of these things. And we're frustrated and we're stressed that now we have all this stuff to deal with, and that life wasn't supposed to be this way. It wasn't supposed to, this unexpected thing happen. And what I like to propose is actually to expect it, to expect the unexpected happening, to expect the tragedies, to expect the car accidents, and have a perspective and a mindset that this is life, that this is normal. And when we can shift into that space, then the bummer event is less stressful, maybe even not stressful. So this is where my third piece comes in, is that hard is normal. So I wrote in the blog that my man and I, we were like having this funny moment laughing about how one of the ways that we really like to position our mindset on our life is that hard is normal. And, you know, this in the midst of all of the pandemic and, you know, the whole world is going through a really interesting moment right now. And it's really easy to get wrapped into focusing on how hard it is and how it could be easier and better if it was a different way. And what we like to do is like really shift our perspective and be like, okay, like hard is normal. Like this is a part of life. Like these kind of things happen. And we take out the stress and we take out the negative emotion of the event. And we look at like, okay, well, if things happen, if pandemics happen, and this is just a part of life, now what? Now what are our choices? What are our options now, without piling on the stress of like, this shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be this way. If we can deconstruct this part and be like, okay, this is normal. Hard things happen, difficult things happen. Now what? Now how can we function? And it just peels off that layer, or it doesn't pile on that layer of stress. So yeah, that is like my thoughts on what I created this week. My little one's coming in right now. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope that this helps you shift some perspective. Beep, beep.